Let's get into a turbo chat.
Let's get into a turbo chat.
You know that this right here forever. No surrender. It's forever. You know this right here forever. No surrender. It's forever. You know, this right here forever.
All right, starting over here, the first unit that we're going to talk about is the OEM turbo. This is what comes on the GTR R35. It's a proprietary Nissan design, right? So what they've done is they take the exhaust manifold, and that's essentially what turns into your hot side. And so it's kind of a pain to deal with, right, when you're doing downpipes and when you're doing any type of turbo upgrades, because you're always limited to the stock manifold in the stock location. Now, there are several companies, including AMS, that make aftermarket manifolds for some of the bigger units, right? So when you're going 12, 14, 16, 1800 horsepower in the stock location, there are different options for you. At 1800 and above, you're probably moving the turbos to the front anyway, and so that becomes a moot point. But for 95% of the GTR owners out there that want a little bit of an upgrade and don't want to chop the car up like we've obviously started to do, choosing to do a turbo upgrade with the stock manifold is very common. Starting over here, let's look at this unit. This is a 6-blade design, and it is a very small wheel. The stock actuator is okay. It is not the best, so anytime that we're in here, we definitely want to upgrade that to an aftermarket actuator. But again, these tend to hold boost to about 22, 23 pounds. Anything after that, you're probably destroying the cartridge anyway, so the turbo's not going to be efficient past that. This is perfectly fine for a stock car, and for the guy that buys this car to drive to the office, that's great. For the rest of us that want a little bit more, that get somewhat power hungry, let's go over to option number 2. Now this turbo, this is a GTX 2867. This particular kit was put together by Full Blown Motorsports. It's a collaboration with Titan Motorsports, and so that's who I got this from. And I'll tell you, if you look in here, you can see the 10-blade design, and you'll also notice that it is a little bit bigger than the stock one. Now, the GTX 2867R is a ball bearing turbo, so it does spool up very quick, so you're not sacrificing spool up time. It reacts very similar to the stock turbo. It is just a little bit laggier, and by just a little bit, 200 or 300 RPMs more. Not a lot, barely noticeable on the street. Now this particular unit's going to put out on pump gas, it'll go 650, 680, 690. On E85, you can probably push it to in the 700s, 725, 730, 735. When you get into race gas, whether you go with MS109 or C16 or, again, a higher octane, you could probably get in the high 700s, low 800s, right? Depending on your setup and supporting mods. Again, great turbo. We had this in stock. We were planning on using this for the blue car. We chose against it because we found out about this guy. This is the Omega 12 by AMS. And this is a newer technology by Garrett, right? So Garrett makes the cartridge on this, and it is brand new technology, just released in 2019. And what's so special about this is that it is a similar size turbo. Actually, it's a little bit smaller, but produces more power. So the characteristics are similar to these two as far as spool up. However, it's got the potential of exceeding 1,000 horsepower. There's a couple of guys out there that are running 11 and 1,200 horsepower on these. Again, bigger setups, bored out motors, cams, so on and so forth. There's a lot more to it than just bolting up a turbo kit. But this turbo definitely has the potential of taking us there. And with the 4.1 liter that we're putting in the blue car, this unit is going to give us a ton of power, right? It's definitely going to exceed what we need on the street and on the track. The reason that I chose this turbo is, again, this is newer technology. Even though I had the GTX here and I was prepared to put this in the car, the truth is that AMS gave us a smoking deal on this, and we've partnered up with them on a ton of the parts that we're using on the car, this being one of them, of course. And we wanted to showcase what the new Omega 12 can do in comparison to really what's out there in the market. So I'll be sharing with you guys. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and like and subscribe now. I'll be sharing with you guys in future episodes, once this is in the car, dyno sheets and drivability. I'll also share draggy reports, 0 to 60, 60 to 130s. I don't know that I'll take it to the track on the quarter mile. There's plenty of guys out there that are posting quarter mile times. I'm not a big drag guy. Maybe I'll take it out there. I'm not a fan of launching the car, so my quarter mile times always suck anyway, or my 60-foot sucks and my mile per hour is decent. But I'm not the guy that's going to break a record, right? So there's plenty out there. Check those guys out, right? But I'll definitely be sharing with you the drivability and the real-life response out of this turbo. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Again, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.